What's cracking, fuckers? It's week 2. Lay him on the line. And we got a special guest coming your way tonight to break down the Thursday night game, Jake Beck. I know he's a fan favorite of the show. It's always a good time when we get a chance to have him on. I know he's going to have a lot to say. Bills taking down the Dolphins on Thursday night, so that means we will bypass the Thursday night game, get right into yesterday's games. Sheets, I mean, we might as well just go right for it. It's a game you want to talk about the most, game I don't want to talk about, so let's just get it out of the way. And, of course, that is our little rivalry game we had this week. It was the Packers taking down my Colts, 16-10, the final score in that one. You were talking about it. You said we just have to win at least one or two of these games. Well, you got one down, so I'll let you take the reins here. What are you feeling today after the win yesterday? And how do you feel about the Packers moving forward now? How do you feel about Malik Willis?
Yeah, the lamb on the line ball, won by yours truly. I called it, Sheets. I told you last week. I said bet the house on the Packers. That's 12 or 13 straight one home openers for us. So we haven't lost at home since like 2012, I believe. Malik Willis did exactly what a backup should do. Don't turn the ball over. He was 12 for 14 with a touchdown. Just kept it. He ran for 64 or 41 yards as well. Josh Jacobs, I'll take back what I said about him last week. He's not washed. He fucking ran all over that Colts defense. But with that said, the Colts defense now 2 weeks in a row has not been able to stop the run. They got to fix that big time. Richardson, your boy, 3 picks, dude. 3 picks, 17 for 34, about 50%. He did have 37 yards on the ground, 204 in the air. QB rating of 41 this week. Jordan Love was questionable before the game. I don't know if you saw that, but there was like some out there rumors that he could potentially be on the field. I would have been pissed if they did that. But he may be back sooner than later. So I think we're in a good spot. We're 1-1, right where I thought we'd be, playing the Eagles and Colts at the start of the season. Got the Malik Willis revenge game next week against the Titans. And then we have the Vikings at home. So I like our chances to be 2-2 at the absolute worst. We're not going to lose 2 in a row to the Titans and Vikings. So we're right where we need to be. Honestly, I think you guys – it can't be worse because you're 0-2. But you do have the Bears, Steelers, Jags, Titans coming up next. So, I mean, the Colts have a chance to make a little run at getting back in playoff contention as well.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was not fun to watch at all. It was actually worse than the Texans game, which I didn't think was possible. But like you said, yeah, we still have a chance here these next couple of weeks to take care of business, go get a win in the win column, maybe get back to 500. But you're right. The Texans week 1 started a fire against us, and the Packers kept the flames going. That's attacking the ground game. 32 carries for Josh Jacobs, 150 yards. I mean, they just followed the Texans' blueprint, fucking gouge us in the run game, and it worked. I mean, we were able to slow you down a little bit in the second half, but it wasn't enough. I mean, and then you talked about Richardson, 3 picks. That was probably the worst game he's played since he's been the starter. And you got to remember, this guy has only played a handful of games, period. I mean, he only played fucking like 15 games in college, maybe 14 games in college. And we played 5 games last year. Like, this guy is still very raw in general. So we're going to have some of these games. You got to expect that from him. I was not a fan of him yesterday, but I got to keep telling myself, he's still pretty much a rookie. I mean, he only played 5 games last year. Like I said, he only played a handful of games in college. Like, you're going to get some of these games. There's going to be some growing pains. And, when it's all said and done, we were still hanging in there. We still had a chance at the end. I don't know how. I mean, it felt like that game should have been 30 to rip, but we still fought, stayed close, but there's no way around it. We sucked.
We had our first ever puke football in the NFL. Did you see that? Our center, Josh Myers, puked on the football, and that's apparently why Malik Willis did not want to throw it. Yeah, weird shit went on this week in the NFL. I can't wait to get into the rest of the games because I figured out my betting strategy is just whatever I think is going to happen, bet the opposite. And it worked pretty well for me this week.
That's good. Yeah. Fade yourself. Fade whatever you think is going to happen, fade it.
Because you can't guess the NFL. You can't guess the NFL ever.
Well, you can later in the season once they start to get a little bit more predictable. These first couple weeks are pretty much almost like preseason games. A lot of these guys haven't played a lot yet. You don't really know what to expect from a lot of these teams. It's kind of a crapshoot. So,
Who's your backup?
Joe Flacco.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not saying put him in. Please keep playing AR. I think he's gonna be good eventually. But I was just curious. I didn't know Joey Flacco was on the roster.
Yeah, Joe Flacco, the reigning comeback player of the year.
One of the better backups to have.
I'm saying he's a Hall of Famer, probably borderline Hall of Famer.
He's got one ring. Yeah. His stats probably back you up there. Yeah, he might be.
Borderline.
Yeah.
Not a bad backup. And then we have
Sam Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger, yeah, from Texas.
UT.
Yep. So not a bad quarterback room, but we need better play from AR. Bottom line, we got to fix the run defense. That's pathetic. You can't keep doing this shit week in and week out. Puts us at a disadvantage. Like, you guys control the line of scrimmage. You control the time of possession. Like, we got to figure out this run defense. And
listen,
if it doesn't get figured out, we need to fire Chris Ballard, the GM. He needs to go.
Both of our teams, you got the shit end of the stick this week. Both of our teams need some work done. But like I said, we both have favorable schedules coming up. Maybe the next couple lay them on the lines. We'll be both coming off the wins. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But yeah, we'll take that dub. We'll hand you the L, and we'll move on.
All right. Let's put it in the past. Until the next time we play, the Colts Packers don't get together very often. So
no, maybe a Super Bowl.
Right, this year.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along with the Sunday slate. This probably wasn't, at least the game that I thought we were going to end up talking about, but we have to talk about it, and that is the Ravens go down to the Raiders. So now Baltimore is 0-2. Gardner Minshew, first win as a Las Vegas Raider. I didn't watch a ton of this game. I got bits and pieces of it, but from what I saw, Minshew was kind of just balling out a little bit. I thought it was more of like the Raiders won this game than the Ravens lost. I was actually kind of impressed with the Ravens or with the Raiders. Devontae Adams went off. He had 9 catches, 110 yards. He had a crazy catch where he's like out of bounds, got back in and caught it. I don't know. I was actually low-key impressed with the Raiders team. That's a team that I don't think anyone has any expectations for them. We'll see what they can do with this team.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team by any means, but yeah, props to them going into Baltimore and getting that dub. Baltimore finds themselves the AFC North is a shit show. You got Baltimore and the Bengals both sitting there 0-2.
Yeah.
And then the Steelers, who have scored 1 touchdown in 2 weeks, are 2-0 at the top of the division.
Yeah.
So weird shit going on in the AFC North. But Lamar, I don't know. Did you see that last play? They had a chance to win it. The way he moves and jukes, he should have just tried to juke those last people out instead of throwing it back 20 yards. He had a chance. He had a full head of speed.
I know.
He had to make 2 guys miss, but that's what he does. He should have just kept it and tried it himself. I wouldn't want, if I was a Ravens fan, I wouldn't want the ball in any other person's hand than Lamar Jackson's in that situation.
Yeah. And then there's a guy, I guess, like wide open on the other side of the field. So if you're going to throw it to anyone, throw it to this dude. Instead, he pitched it to the guy next to him. You're right. I don't know what he was thinking there.
He's got to be watching that film being like, damn, I could have had that. They could have scored. This was the one game that I was like, nope, I know what's going to happen here. I took the Ravens -8. I took the bait. And, of course, they looked good, actually. They were up like 10 with, like, in the fourth quarter, I believe.
Yeah.
And just fucking blew it. But, that's the NFL. So what are you going to do?
The Ravens now 0-2, like you said. They got to go on the road against the Cowboys next week. And then they play the Bills after that, and then they play the Bengals in 3 weeks. They got a tough schedule. I don't know. They got to figure their shit out.
That's a good transition. Let's transition right there to that Cowboys game because what the fuck? Here, I'm stuck between, are the Saints actually a juggernaut or are the Cowboys that win in Cleveland doesn't look as great now, even though they won. But the Saints go into Dallas and just handily beat the shit out of them. We should have got BJ on for like a 1-minute recap of where he's at in the Dallas Cowboys state. But what a shit show. Are they bad? Are the Saints good? What did you take away from this game? Or both? Maybe it's both.
I mean, you know me, my takeaway is Derek Carr is the man. He always has been. Now he's getting a good team around him. He's the front runner for the MVP in my mind right now. And I don't know. He put a thumping on Dallas.
Literally, did you see it? You saw a celebration in the end zone. There is something. You're a known Derek Carr lover. I'm not so high on Derek Carr, but this year there's a little something to him. I don't know. There's like an aura around him that I'm enjoying. I kind of like. And if Kamara's going to play like that, he's going to play like that. It might be a little fun team to watch. Your favorite division, maybe a little even more fun this year.
It's a great division, and you know. We got some breaking news today. Bryce Young is benched. Now you got Andy Dalton in the mix. I like that. I like that division. You got Baker Mayfield, Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. Not a bad division.
Yeah, what a weird ass, goofy quarterback lineup there. But yeah, Saints look damn good. I don't. Who do they have next? They've got they host the Eagles in a noon slate next week. Then the Falcons and the Chiefs and They got a couple tough games. Let's play guess that line. Eagles going into Saints. I know it. What do you think it is?
I mean, the Eagles will be favored, but I think it'll be kind of tight with the way that the Saints have played so far. So I would say like Eagles -2 or 3.
Close. Eagles -1.
Oh, wow.
That's I wouldn't be surprised if that flips, especially after maybe what could happen tonight. One to keep an eye on. That'll be a fun game. Maybe the Saints will come back to earth. Maybe they'll beat the shit out of the Eagles and prove everyone that they're here to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that though.
That'll be a good matchup. Also, the Cowboys had a 16-game regular season home win streak that snapped. So not counting the playoffs because they obviously lost to your Packers last year at home. But in the regular season, they'd won 16 in a row at home, and they got fucking dominated from the first drive of the game. Alvin Kamara, I got him in our fantasy league. I picked him up for peanuts. He went off. It was a fun day. I mean, I'm a regular Cowboys fan, but I also, you know, part of me was cheering for Derek Carr, and Alvin Kamara's on fantasy team. Like, I wasn't too upset about it.
Yeah, that was kind of two of your second favorite teams there playing each other, but you didn't get the game you wanted. But
no.
Yeah, I guess props to the Saints for getting it done in Dallas.
It was like you said before. It was weird all around the NFL. Another team that went down that nobody was thinking about was the Lions. 20-16 to Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield, touchdown pass, runs for a touchdown. He's playing with some fun. I mean, he's picking up right where he left off last year. He's like regaining like his confidence back. He's like Oklahoma Baker Mayfield right now.
Yeah, this is I these two teams because last year, if you guys watched last year, Meisner had a future on the Saints to win the division. I was big on the Bucks, and now we kind of have this little bit of rivalry where he still likes the Saints. I'm big on the Bucks still. It's Baker versus Derek Carr. I don't know. You're right. Something about this goddamn division. I used to hate this division, and now I'm starting to love it. Yeah, Baker looks good. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans doing what they do, what they've always done. There are two receivers on a team that have been like on the same team for as long as they have and just producing the way they have. I mean, you look at like Devontae Adams on the Colts or on the Colts, on the Packers. Like a team has one guy that usually stays there, but both of them producing like they have. I think that's kind of played into it. Baker's getting used to them and getting his feeling at home more. And then Rachaad White, tough game for him, but I do like him. And Bucky Irving, keep your eye on him come later on in the season. I think he's going to be a damn good running back. He's a rookie, but
I agree.
Yeah, the Lions, they're still fine. They're 1-1. It's early in the season. They're going to be there in the playoffs. They're going to be there probably in the NFC Championship. Jared Goff threw the ball 55 times, which is insane. They got Amon-Ra going finally. But yeah, the Bucs, they're just a gritty team. They take after Mr. Baker, and they got it done in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Bucky Irving. I picked him up in my Dynasty League in the rookie draft this year, in the third round. Rachaad White, I don't think is any good. I think Rachaad White I mean, he had good numbers last year because he ran the ball so damn much. They gave him the ball 30 times a game. I could, fucking anyone could get 100 yards if you hand it off 30 times.
Yeah,
So I
I've
think
always said that.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking a page out of your playbook here. If I got 30 carries, 35 carries, I get 100 yards too if I play for Tampa Bay.
I think Baker, I know he got sacked 5 times. I think 4, or if not all of them were in the first quarter, or in the first half at least. And he's just so gritty. God, I love Baker. This damn division.
Dan Campbell also had another fuck up. He fucked up last year in the playoffs a couple times, going for it. He's trying to be big man. They had a chance to kick a field goal, I think, before half, and he fucking runs out. They ran a play. They had time to spike the ball, and then kick the field goal. And he tried to run out his fucking field goal team out there, and then he's like, "Oh shit, we don't have enough time for this. Get them off." So then everyone was confused as fuck. Then they had too many guys on the field, so then they had to do a 10-second runoff. So he fucked themselves out of points. I get Dan Campbell's shtick as he likes to go for it, and I think he did run like a fake punt in the first half there,
Successful fake punt.
he did. But sometimes I'm like, what in the fuck is this meathead doing?
Yeah, he's got a little, for lack of a better word, tism in him when it comes to calling plays, or just management in general. I still love him. He's one of the lovable coaches in the NFL, and I think he's awesome. But sometimes, man, I thought they tried to hire a guy to keep him from doing shit like this, and either they did hire him and that guy's not worth a shit, or they need to hire a guy, maybe me or you, to just tell them exactly. We're Madden players. We know how the time management works. It's not that difficult. Spike the fucking ball, kick the field goal.
Like it. Yeah. And throwing the ball 55 times a game, I don't really understand that logic either, but it was not a good game for Detroit after they played a great game against the Rams. So I don't know. I'm still Jerry's still out on how good I think the Lions are. I think they'll be in the playoffs, but from what I've seen so far, even the game they won last week, I think they lost a little bit of that firepower. We'll have to see if they get it back eventually. It's still early. Let's move on. Let's see here. Oh, let's go. Let's talk about Vikings. Vikings upset the Niners 23-17. Sam Darnold undefeated as Viking 2-0 now, and he played damn good. And I liked it after the game. He was kind of calling out Kyle Shanahan for cutting him too. I like that move when they said that they're going to sign him, and they're like, yeah, we're probably going to start him too. Justin, before he even got hurt, before McCarthy even got hurt, they even said they're like, he's probably going to start. I think it was the right call. I like what this guy's got. He's having kind of like a career revitalization. It's tough when you get drafted the New York shit Jets. They're not going to be any good until Joe Namath retires. He sold his soul. He sold his soul to win Super Bowl III, and they're not going to be any good until he dies. So he just had a bad luck of the draw in the draft there. Kind of bounced around. Now he's got a team for him. I think he looks good in purple and gold.
I mean, I'm biased, but I think he's playing well now, but there will be a Sam Darnold game or a stretch of games where he looks like how he used to in New York. And I don't know if he's the long-term answer there. Obviously, they have JJ. They're starting off hot, but guess what, Sheets? You don't want to be hot in September. You don't want to be looking good now because it's only going to go downhill from here for the Vikings. And I know they don't want to hear that. And I know I'm a Packers fan just talking shit about the Vikings. I'm giving them their flowers. They're 2-0. They beat one of the best teams in the NFL this week. No one thought they could do it. But they'll come back down to earth. I'm gonna guess they're gonna be a 9-8, 8-9 team around there. But yeah, good for them. Brock was scrambling all day. He had a decent day for being under as much pressure as he did. 319 yards, touchdown. He did throw a pick. If you look at the stats, I mean, the 49, I mean, Jordan Mason ran for 100 yards. Debo had 110. Kittle had 7 catches for a touchdown. Vikings found a way to beat him. And like you said, Sam Darnold had that little extra motivation playing Kyle Shanahan. And like I said, I'll give it to him. But you wait, Sheets. They're much like the Cowboys. And when this happens, they're going to be riding high. But sell their stock now because it's going to get ugly.
Okay. We'll have to see. I don't know. I think right now they look like the best team in the division.
Come on, Sheets. Come on. We got the Lions. Let us get Jordan Love back.
Okay.
They'll sit right there at third at the end of the year.
It is the 8th straight time Minnesota has beaten San Francisco at home, and the 49ers have not beaten the Vikings in Minnesota since 1992.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Mm.
Wow.
I saw that stat before the game, and I was like, shit, these guys haven't won in 30 damn years. So I took Vikings plus 4.5. Should have went balls out and took the money line too, but at least we got a little coin off of that one.
Good bet.
It was one of the few ones I had, but one of the few good ones. I was gonna ask you real quick though before we move on to the next game. People are starting to whisper a little bit. Brock Purdy overrated?
No. Give him. First of all, I was never putting him on a pedestal at like the elite quarterbacks. I said he's good to great quarterback. I've always said that. He's not elite. He's got great weapons around him. You can only be overrated when you're. I mean, he threw for 319 yards and a touchdown here under fire the whole time. The O-line looks like shit, even with Trent Williams. So, no, they're another team, much like the Lions. They took an L this week. They're going to be there in the NFC Championship. No, he's not overrated.
Okay. I just wondering. People were whispering, so I thought I would.
Yeah, let him whisper.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's shift gears. Let's see. Do you have a game you want to talk about?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about how dog shit the Panthers are because if you watched this last year, as a podcast, we do eventually, but like to eliminate teams from the playoffs before they're mathematically eliminated. I missed one last year. I had one screw up. I eliminated a team. I forget who it was. Might have been the Steelers that made it, but I can guarantee you this year that will not happen. And I've already got 3 teams eliminated from the playoffs after week 2.
Wow.
And I'll keep track if you're on board or not. Usually you're not, but the Panthers are written off. They're gone. They have zero chance. Are you signing off on that or no?
I can't. Yeah, if they were to if they were going to keep rocking with Bryce Young, I would say they're out. But you know what? They're bringing in Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket.
It's not just Bryce Young. The whole team sucks. The whole team is terrible. But that's fine. They lose 34-3 to the Chargers or 26-3. I'll keep them on my list. We won't put them on yours.
I just want to see what Andy Dalton has. Andy Dalton is a damn fine quarterback. Damn fine.
He's got red hair with no weapons. Sheets. That's what you're gonna see.
He's got Adam Thielen.
Oh, that 32-year-old Adam Thielen.
The Packer killer.
Yeah, that might be, but guess what, Sheets? They're, as I like to say, eliminated from the playoffs. They have zero chance of making it.
Like I said, if they were going to keep playing Bryce Young, I would write him off. But I got to see what my man Andy Dalton has. He's a vet of the game. I want to give him a chance. But
on the other side, Sheets, we got the Chargers who are now 2-0.
Yeah,
under the new Harbaugh regime. Where do we put them? Because I still don't think they're like this great team, and I don't think they're going to win that division by any means. Are they a playoff team? I mean, are they good? Their defense sure looks good.
I wasn't like before the year. I'm like that. I don't think they're a playoff team, but you never know. Here's the thing. I feel like if I was a Chargers player the last couple of years, playing with fucking Brandon Staley and going to Jim Harbaugh is like winning the fucking lottery. You playing for Brandon Staley, a dumbass with no emotion, just a robot of a guy, and now you get Jim Harbaugh as a fiery guy, great personality, pretty weird, but that's part of the fun. I feel like they're having a good time out there. I feel like they're loving the Harbaugh experiment. I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, they're destined for successful seasons down the line. Like Brandon Staley was a joke and a flop.
I agree. I think they're in a good spot. I don't know. I think they're maybe 1 or 2 years away still. But there's a couple other noon games, and I want to get to the 3:00 games because those were damn good. Jets beat the Titans. Aaron Rodgers gets his first win as a Jet, unless you want to count that game last year where he played 4 plays. Titans, I thought about writing them off. I haven't, just because the defense actually looks decent. Will Levis looks like a freaking joke. But the Jets get it done in Nashville, and Aaron Rodgers looked okay. Brees Hall's a freaking stud. I wish I would have drafted him in all my fantasy leagues. I don't know. I should have, being a Cyclone fan, but he's just going for so much money in the auction leagues that I didn't pony up and get him. But he's still a stud. And now they've got that Braylon Allen cat who he got a touchdown this week too. And those two in the backfield with Rodgers and Garrett Wilson on one side, and is Mike Williams. Yeah, he's playing now. They're gonna be a team you don't want to reckon with come December, January.
People are saying if anyone's going to dethrone the Chiefs, that's the team people kind of throw out there. They got off to a bad start week 1. This game was a little rocky too, but I think it'll come along. I think it's going to take some time. Just give it a little bit. It was a good win for them. It would have been a terrible loss if they blew it, but they came back, got it done. And I actually might be willing to write off the Titans. They are dog shit. Terrible. Will Levis is a
You will write off the Titans, but not the Panthers.
I just want to see Andy Dalton. I want to see what Andy Dalton does. Will Levis is an asshole. He's no good.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I thought about writing him off, but they got Mason Rudolph. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him anytime soon if Will Levis keeps playing like this. But I'm not going to write him off yet. Once they lose to us next week, and then they got the Dolphins the week after that, they might be 0-4. If they lose to us 0-3, we can write them off next week.
Okay. I want to write them off now. They're one of my least favorite teams year in and year out. Will Levis is no good. He had a terrible play, and his head coaches even looked at him and said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Fuck it. Like, I'll write him off. We're writing him off.
Yeah. Get him off the board. Who's the other teams you're writing off? Giants?
Yeah. They're donezo. They're a joke. Dayball, I thought he was a great coach. I don't know if he just doesn't have much to work with, which he doesn't really, but still, they look freaking terrible. Daniel Jones is terrible. I saw he's getting his like 55th start or something like that, and Bryce Young gets benched after his 18th. Who'd they put? Oh, the Commanders.
Yeah.
They see ya, Giants. They have zero chance. I miss when the Giants were good because New York team, Eli Manning, they used to be a powerhouse, but no, they're quickly turning into the Panthers, and I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon.
I think I'm fine with writing them off too.
All right. So we have 2 official teams written off.
Yeah.
And the third team I have written off, I'm going to guess you won't agree. The most boring game on Sunday with a total of 1 touchdown in the whole time, maybe 2. Nope, 1 touchdown. Steelers go into Denver. I was actually in Colorado this weekend, Sheets, and I looked at the tickets, and I monitored them. It started at 330, then it came down to 310, 270, and eventually like 200, but I am damn glad I didn't go to this game. 2 shit offenses. The Broncos are terrible. Bo Nix is terrible. Sean Payton's becoming a joke. I'm writing them off. Are you on that train or no?
I don't want to write them off yet. They have not looked good. They have not looked good. But I can't write the Broncos off yet. Let's give my guy Bo Nix a chance. But I will say, my ass hat of the week is Sean Payton. So I'm glad we brought this game up. Sean Payton is an ass hat himself. I don't know how he's allowed to coach in this league. He's a criminal. He should be locked up for the things he did back with the Saints. And it sounds like, if you want to do some research, it sounds like he was doing a little bit more than what they let on. They kind of gave up. They kind of said he was doing this bounty thing, but it sounds like he was doing some other shit, selling like painkillers and shit like that. He's doing some weird shit when he's back with the Saints. His ass should not be allowed to coach, I think, at any level of the game. He's my ass hat of the week. He fucking didn't kick an onside kick down a touchdown with 1:54 and 1 timeout. He didn't have the 2-minute warning. He had 1 timeout. And he said, well, when we looked at the clock, we felt like we still had plenty of time. And they got the ball back, but there was 20 seconds left. They had to go 80 yards in 20 seconds with no timeouts. Kick the fucking onside, dumb shit. You kicked an onside against our fucking Colts in the Super Bowl. Fucking why aren't you doing it now? It was terrible. So he's my ass out of the week. He shouldn't be allowed to coach. And he didn't kick an onside with 1 timeout and on the wrong side of the 2-minute warning. So stupid. And then the drive before that, I think they were down 13-3, and then they kicked the field goal to make it 13-6. He was fucking around with the play clock, chewing it all the way down. It's like, dude, you got to score before the 2-minute warning, dude. Kick the field goal before the 2-minute warning. He fucked it up. There was, earlier in the game, like, you could tell, like, he's got a rookie quarterback. I think his offense is outdated and everything. It's just, I think Bo Nix is like, what the fuck is going on? I feel bad for Bo Nix.
He needs Drew Brees.
Sucks.
He needs old man Drew Brees to be successful, and he doesn't have him. Now he's stuck with Bo Nix, who, did you see? He's like, oh, I baited the Vikings into trading up for J.J. McCarthy, and I wanted Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Dude is freaking terrible. Then Sean Payton, asshat of the week, no doubt. But I know elimination, lamb on the line, writing him off is not the same as the same math. But I don't understand. Who do you think they're going to edge out in the wild card? You got Houston. In their own division, they have the Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. And then you have the Jets, Dolphins, Bills. Then you have Baltimore, Bengals, Cleveland, like Pittsburgh. Like, who are they going to edge out?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I can't give up on them yet. They probably will be there, but we can't. Not officially yet.
I'll mark them as just my write-off.
Okay. Well, you can put the New York Football Giants on there. You can put
the Panthers and the Titans. Those are our 3 official write-offs.
Well, I still want to see what my man Andy Dalton does. Maybe Andy Dalton.
Okay.
Never know.
Okay.
TCU legend.
That's true.
He took him to the Rose Bowl
against Wisconsin. Who'd they play? Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat him too, I think.
Yeah, I mean wait, why was that how'd they get in the Rose Bowl?
I think a Big Ten team played a national championship, or no, I don't know actually. Maybe a
Pac-12 team played the national championship or something like that.
I think Oregon or some shit went. So they got to go. They were undefeated.
Let's talk small people. We have Beck coming on later. Fucking Kyler Murray is looking insane. Yeah. I don't know if the new Call of Duty game came out and he's just crushing it on that, or if it hasn't came out in a while and he's been practicing more in the lab. But he looks damn good. And all of a sudden, this Cardinals team that people like myself wrote off week 0 before they even stepped on a field are 1-1. Maybe have the best loss in the league against the Bills in Buffalo last week, and then come out and beat the shit out of the Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally saw his time of day. What do you have? 2 touchdowns, at least 2 touchdowns, and I know they targeted him for a third multiple times. But the Rams out of the gate had no chance at all. They were down 21-0, then 24-3 at halftime. And I'm not going to write the Rams off, but goddamn, they look bad, and the Cardinals look damn good somehow.
Yeah, I think the thing is the new Call of Duty game hasn't come out yet, so he's actually been practicing. But I did see that it's supposed to come out soon. So, yeah, you need to rack up the wins now. Luckily, that's what they've been doing, at least yesterday. So
he's probably an early release guy, so we need to figure out that date of when it. The early releases, and then bet the unders, all of his unders that next game.
Yes.
He won't be watching any film.
No, not at all. He's going to be pulling the Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah. One of the greatest stories in the NFL of all time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the big storyline, other than the fact that the Rams looked like dog shit, was starving Marvin Harrison. He is a beast, and I'm looking forward to watching him do his thing. Even if he's out in shitty Arizona, a team that I can't stand, I will cheer for him. He's a Big Ten legend, and he's a damn good player, and he's the son of the Colts legend. So I will cheer for him. He looked good.
Outside of him, Kyler really doesn't have any weapons to throw to. I mean, he's got an up-and-coming tight end in Trey McBride, but, I mean, then you go Michael Wilson, Elijah Higgins, Greg Dortch. I mean, Beck doesn't even know who these people are, and he's doing all this with just Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner. So props to Kyler.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a ton of weapons. I guess he got the young. You got Trey McBride, who's kind of coming up as a tight end. Other than that, receivers wise, he's got nobody pretty much. Except Michael Wilson. I forgot about Michael Wilson. He's not good. So we'll see what he does. They did get Trey. He's not a receiver, but they did get Trey Benson to kind of back up James Conner. James Conner had a good game quietly too. It's just a matter
He's
if
a
he can.
stud.
It's just a matter if he gets hurt. He gets hurt every damn year.
Yeah.
But it was a good win for the Cardinals. We'll see if they can do anything with it. The Rams, I don't know, man. Colin Cowherd said a couple weeks ago, he's like, the Rams still have like an 8-year window. I'm like, what are you smoking? No, they don't.
No, they're out the window now.
And
What do you think of that?
Now, like,
yeah, they need some help, especially on that O line as well. And their Matt Stafford's not getting any younger. He's still a stud quarterback. And then missing Aaron Donald, he was a bigger piece of that puzzle than most people think. And I think they're showing that now. But we also know, if you've watched last year, Meisner is a big conspiracy theorist. Yesterday afternoon, Chiefs-Bengals. I want your thoughts. Was that pass interference? Were the refs rigging it for the Chiefs to win? Did the Bengals deserve to win? Did they deserve to lose? What do you think?
I mean, it was pass interference, but I mean, let me find the stat. It's very odd. The Chiefs games always end in odd fashion. Type of fashion that doesn't happen with any other teams. Let's see.
Was it the stat of the 15-game streak of having less penalties than the opponent?
I hadn't even seen that, but that's another one. The one I've seen was Patrick Mahomes threw his 17th interception yesterday that was called back due to a defensive penalty. The most in the NFL since 2018. So when they fuck up, they find some way to give it back to them more than anyone else. It's not a coincidence.
I was cheering for the Bengals. I was hoping Joe Burrow actually looked decent. He looked very injured the first week, but he looked pretty good last night. They're still missing T. Higgins. I think the Bengals can beat them. I don't think the Chiefs are as unbeatable as they maybe have been in the past.
No.
And they'll still win that division, and they'll probably have one of the better odds to win the Super Bowl. But I think this is the year. I don't think they're three-peating. I really don't. I think they're going to lose in the playoffs. I don't know if it'll be the Super Bowl. I don't know if it'll be the AFC Championship or even first round. But I think this year, this little Kelsey, Swift, Patty ring they got going on is going to come to an end. So
Travis Kelce already looks like he's on the downside. He looks old and not good.
He will not turn up until the playoffs. I don't honestly. If I was why even play until December or January? It's like they don't need him. They got Noah Gray who can do just as much as he does now, and Kelsey he'll be himself in the playoffs, but they don't need him until then.
He had one catch yesterday for 5 yards.
Yeah, I could do that. What are we talking about?
I'm saying
we do have we do. Well, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say we do have a new segment presented by Stolken Candles,
right.
And that is Stolken 2 Stats.
Yep.
So thankfully, Stolken Candles gives us $20 every week, 2%, 2 stats. Both kind of interesting. The first one is the passing touchdowns through 2 weeks of the NFL over the past 10 years. Way down. This year has been 66, pending Monday Night Football, obviously, but last year was 86. Last year was 105, 110, 110, 105, 114. I don't know what do you think is contributing to that? Why is passing touchdowns down this year so far?
We talked a little bit about it last week. The quarterback play is not very good. You got these guys, they're more mobile than ever, but does that translate to good passing? I don't know. I think a lot of the times you see like linemen, it's like, I don't know where the fuck my quarterback's going, so they're holding, it's like I saw with Anthony Richardson. He pulled some crazy ass move and Quentin Nelson got called for holding. I don't think Quentin Nelson knew where the fuck he was going with the ball. He had no idea. So I don't think that more mobile quarterbacks equal more success. I like those guys who can sling that fucking rock. I don't give a fuck if they can't move. Give me a Jared Goff. Give me a Matthew Stafford. I miss Brett Favre of old. He would fucking rip that fucker around. Peyton Manning, the GOAT. Those are quarterbacks I like. I don't give a shit if you can fucking, I don't need them to have a 4.5 40. I want a guy who can pass the ball down the field. Some of these little fleas out there running around, they're fast, can move, they can run the fucking ball, but can they throw it? Fuck no.
Yeah, well, that's actually a great segue to our next Stolken 2 stat, and that is the QB rushing yards are through the roof compared to the last 10 seasons. 1,436 rushing yards through 2 weeks. Hasn't even been over 1,300 ever in the NFL. So yeah, you're seeing more of these quarterbacks becoming running backs, and that's also contributing to the lack of passing touchdowns. But I, on the other hand, like you, I do like the gunslingers. I like the Brett Favres, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's. I think the game is turning to where you need a little bit of both, though. I think you can get away with just passing and just slinging it. You can't get away with just running it. But if you can find someone in the middle, and I hate to say it, but like Josh Allen, he can turn it on. He's great at both. And when you have as big a frame as he does, it's just unfortunate he's playing in the same era as Patrick Mahomes because he's his daddy as much as Beck doesn't want to admit it. But yeah, I don't know. The quarterback play, we're seeing a lot of shitty quarterback play. Bryce Young gets benched within 2 weeks. You're going to see Will Levis get benched at some point. I don't know. I missed a good quarterback play. I want more good. As an anytime touchdown better, who usually bets on receivers, it's not been a great start at all. But hopefully that gets better going forward.
I mean, like my favorite young quarterbacks to watch are like a guy like a Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. Those guys can throw the ball. Fuck Kyler Murray, all that shit.
That's one game we didn't get to. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is worth the damn. I don't think the Jaguars are worth the damn. And they lost to the Browns this week, to the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson still didn't look great. Trevor Lawrence was under 50% completion rate, and he's got weapons too. I mean, they're not the best of weapons, but he's got ETN. He's got a rookie, Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, who's a big body, good receiver. Christian Kirk, who's a veteran. I don't know, man. They're 0-2. I wanted to write them off, but I know there's no way in hell you would write the Jaguars off this early. But man, they did not look good against the Browns.
No, Christian Kirk might as well been invisible. He's on my fantasy team. The dude got me at 0.9 of a point. He had one catch for a negative 1 yard.
Well, that's because he's on the Jaguars. He was going off on the Cardinals, and then he got to a shit organization like Jacksonville. Urban Meyer just ruined that organization. But they were shitty before. But I'm a big believer the Jaguars are one of those teams that are just never meant to be good. They're just not good.
They did the playoff here right away, but 2 years ago I think they made the playoffs, and then last year they went to shit again. Now they suck right now.
I think they've been to the AFC Championship recently. Maybe not quite that far, but I know Blake
Bortles.
Yeah, I do love Blake Bortles. He's great. And then we have 2 minutes left. The only game we did pretty good. The only game we didn't hit was the Seahawks-Patriots. And Seahawks go into New England, win in overtime by 3. Jacoby Brissett still slinging it. Just play Drake May, please, so I can watch another rookie quarterback at least. Give me something exciting. I don't want to watch the Patriots at all right now. If they play Drake May, I'll turn it on the TV on one of the 4 squares.
I was watching a little bit of this game. I took the Seahawks -3, so I got a push, but I thought they were going to roll them. So I don't know. I mean, I was a little disappointed in the Seahawks, but a win's a win. Jason Myers, the game winner. You know, that's a scrappy New England team. We got to win last week. They avoided the bad loss. Geno Smith had a good drive there to set him up for that game-winning score in OT. 8 plays, 70 yards. You know, Geno Smith has had a great comeback in his career, and I hope they can get him back to the playoffs this year.
I like the old Mountaineer, and he's got some dudes too. JSN had a hell of a day. Him and DK combined for 22 receptions and over 100 or 230 yards. And we talked about those duo receivers, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Lockett and DK are up there. DK hasn't been in the league for that long, but those two are studs. And then you had JSN, Charbonnet had to fill in for Kenneth Walker, which I loved because I had him in a deep league. The Seattle, they could be for real. They could. I might have to do. We might have to do write-ins as well.
Oh.
We're not going to write them in quite yet, but I'm going to add that to our little Excel sheet we have going. Write-offs, write-ins. Like to
Not a
write
bad-
anybody in?
I don't know yet if you write anyone in yet.
Let's wait. We'll wait on that for next week.
Sounds good. All right, we got through every game. I don't think we got through every game last week, so we're moving along with things. We do have one game. Obviously, we're still waiting for our next guest to pop in. If he wants to get out of the comments, he can join anytime. That's good advice. And I know he's got a lot to say about that game. I mean, we'll wait for him to pop in there. We can talk about it a little bit. I mean, Tua, that's the big area. He's in there right now. Let's just bring him in.
Sheets, how we doing? Rip Tua.
What up, baby?
How we
What up,
doing?
baby? Hey, are we live? We cooking? I'm good.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're about to cook.
What the fuck is this restream?
It's brand new.
Brand new this
It's
year.
nice.
Yeah. We
Stolken
upgraded.
Candles paid for it.
Yeah.
Hold on. What'd you say?
Stolken Candles paid for it.
Stoken's Candles.
Sponsor
Yeah,
the show.
He sells candles, makes them on his own.
All right. First of all, there's a lot of points I like to bring up that you guys had talked about that are pretty interesting. I think the Rams, you guys were talking about the Rams and being written off, correct?
We didn't write them off, but they look like shit
No.
so far, yes.
Well, both their wideouts are gone, right?
Yeah.
For the next 6 to 8 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying? You think we should write them off, or are you thinking they're better
I
than
think we
we're
should.
giving them credit?
No, I think we should.
We'll have to wait till next week.
Fucking Cardinals are taking that division, baby.
Wow.
I texted Klingel and he was all pissed off. I was like, nice game or something like that to him. And he's like, shut up, Sheets. The Packers haven't been relevant since you didn't even know how to jerk off or something like that. I'm like, oh, really?
Wow.
Well, he's crying the blues for the next. I mean, I have Puka on my fucking fantasy team, so I ain't laughing too hard, but fuck, dude. They ain't gonna be looking good for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Enough about the Rams. Let's talk about your Bills beating the shit out of Dolphins in Miami on Thursday night.
You talk about irrelevant fucking Miami Dolphins and that fucking organization. But go ahead, Sheets. Sorry.
No, I'm giving you the floor. I want to know what, as a Bills fan, you're 2-0. You're coming off a pretty big win.
I think we're better with Diggs. Let's bring up that point.
Interesting.
I think the way this offense is going and where Joe Brady, the O coordinator, I think they have it going in the right direction. You don't have a fucking, let's keep it PG here, but they don't have a fucking guy in there bitching about not getting the ball anymore in the locker room. And I think that put, some stress on the locker room, some stress on Josh Allen, and we're cooking, baby.
I did see. Did you guys see the video footage of Josh Allen just completely ignoring Keon Coleman on the sideline?
Yeah, I saw that.
Any thoughts on that?
Well,
Your rookie receiver is supposed to be the guy, and they're already fighting week 2.
You know what I will say is I fucking lost a fucking big parlay on that. And you know that. And I needed a fucking touchdown to win over $100 on a fucking $5 parlay here. So I was very pissed, but I don't know. I mean, if he had Ramsey probably half the time, they got a new D coordinator. They've had 5 D coordinators in the last 7 years. If that tells you anything. Yeah.
Is Joe Brady the old? I could be wrong. Was he the OC for LSU?
Yeah, and then he went to Carolina, and then he moved up there, and then he came to Buffalo. But he was under Kent Dorsey, and that jackass is fucking over by. Didn't he just say they were better? Yeah, I fucking did. And my other point was number 2 is that D coordinator is fucking good. We just got a new D coordinator. We hired him up internally. You know how many fucking injuries and just new guys we have out there. We don't have Poyer. We don't have Hyde. We don't have Milano. We don't have Bernard because he fucking tore his pec.
Bill's always got injuries. I think you guys have something in the water up there because every year I hear you talking about injuries.
That's why I say we need to fire the strength and conditioning coach. We need to fire the nutritionist. We need to fire all those people. But other than that, we're good.
Meisner, would you write the Bills in, or are you not confident yet?
I don't know if you can fully write them in, but I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing.
I think I'm writing them in.
I mean, okay, so we put 31 on Miami. It's 2 games this year. But I think as the year evolves, you're gonna see why Diggs wasn't. I mean, what did he do in the playoffs? That's fucking you want to talk about irrelevant. That's what he was in the playoffs.
That's the big question.
So again, your Vikings don't matter.
Right.
What?
The Bills.
What?
I said that's the big question about the Bills. It has been. They can get to the playoffs and then they fall on their face. So what's going to be different this year? I mean, you talked about the defense, I guess, but what's going to cause them not to?
For the last 2 years, you can say that about any team. Last 2 to 3 years.
That's true, but you guys have the Chiefs on your side, and you got to beat them to get the Super Bowl. And
I mean, it's going to take a game at home, and with a new team like this, we have a lot of new guys. I can't really say what we're going to do. But as the year evolves, I think we're going to look better. I can say that. You don't see what Keon have, like 0 receptions in the last game.
Yes.
So I think we'll get him involved. He made a big play against Arizona. I'm sure you guys probably didn't tune into that, but Meisner, you probably did. Russell, you probably didn't.
He had a big catch.
He had a big catch, and he had a couple others. But, I mean, I doubt Ramsey was following him. So I'm guessing he probably wasn't. Ramsey's fucking overrated as hell.
Aren't you guys like 8-2 against Ramsey or something like that?
When I saw this the other day, Meisner, you're gonna love this. When Ramsey came out and said Josh Allen's trash, did you see that?
Yeah.
He's like 0-5 or 0-6 against him.
Really?
Since that comment, yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy who loves to run his
busted. Dude is busted. Busted from head to toe. He ain't good. He's living in Miami, making millions of dollars. He's won a ring. Like he don't care.
Does he have 2 rings?
Yeah. I think just one.
Maybe it is just one.
So everyone's been talking this week with the concussion to Tua. Should he come back? Should he play? What do you think, Beck? Do you think Tua should retire, or do you think he should keep playing?
I mean, if he wants to fucking die out there, keep on playing. I mean, I don't know when his last straw is going to be, but I'll tell you what. We've taken him out. I didn't realize the Bengals took him out, and someone else did too. But the Bengals have taken his ass out twice, and that did not look – dude, he cannot slide. That's his problem. He cannot slide. He does not – it's the weirdest thing.
I feel bad for the guy.
I do
sucks.
too.
And it was weird that it was DeMar Hamlin, the one that gave him the concussion.
Dude, his problem was he could never tackle. And this year he's like been tackling really well. I don't remember the stat, so I'm not going to throw it out there, but we put him back there and he's actually been playing pretty well. Surprise. Go ahead.
No, I got nothing. It's a little underwhelming. I thought you'd be coming in here firing. You're 2-0, beat the shit out of the Dolphins. I guess it was 4 days.
It's too early to fire. It's too early. I really don't know. I mean, dude, half those guys on defense, the first time they saw that field was against Miami or Arizona within the first 2 games. Like the guys in the secondary, a lot of them are new.
That's
We don't
fair.
have Poyer, Hyde, Trey White. He's been getting torched in LA by Marvin Harrison, who you guys were talking about.
That's all fair. Well, then let's talk about the Monday Night Football game. If you were watching Lamb on the Line last week and followed our bets, we went 4-2. We're profitable this year so far. Shout out Stolken. He went 2-0 in the bets. Both Meisner and I went 1-1. So yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles host Kirk Cousins and the Falcons tonight. Everything in my heart says it's going to be a blowout, which means I'm probably leaning towards more the Falcons. But what do you guys think is going to happen tonight?
I mean, the Eagles are going to spank them. And I will say, I did not look at my bets or what the bets were. I was scared to look at my FanDuel account because I'm not sure I won a bet yet this year in NFL. Maybe one.
That's good for the listeners. All right.
Well, and the other point, talking about receivers not playing well this year, it's been on the running game. That's probably why I haven't been, because I bet on receivers. That probably aligns. That's the other point I wanted to make.
Meisner, what do you think is going to happen tonight?
I think the Falcons will keep this one close. I think the Eagles will win, but I think Kirk Cousins will give it its best. I think they'll lose by like 3 or 4, maybe like on the last drive of the game.
All right.
I got the Eagles. What are they, like -6? -7?
-5.5, I think. 5, 6, something like that.
I think you take that.
So that's one of your bets. Okay, hold on. Eagles, what are they at right now? Eagles -5.5. Okay, what else you got?
And then, I mean, I think you got Saquon Tutty.
Okay. I like that.
I might have to go put that in my FanDuel account.
Well, you should. If you're giving it out to the listeners, you should probably take the bet sheets. I got mine too. Meisner, do you have yours, or do you want me to go? Or are you still looking?
You go. I think I have them, but I want to hear what you say.
Okay. Mine are a little bit different this week. My one bet that hit last week was an over in receiving. So tonight, with A.J. Brown out, I've got Jahan Dotson over 2.5 catches. I think what's his nuts on the Falcons? Who's that? A.J. Terrell, stud corner, is going to lock down Devonta Smith. So I'm going to take Jahan over 2.5. And then I got my boy Young-Hoo Koo over 6.5 points.
Wow.
Can I not put a chat in on this restream?
You're in the booth. Why do you need to put a chat in?
Stoken's talking shit about Keon Coleman being irrelevant.
Let's do him right now. That's what we're live for.
Well, I wanted to chat him because you guys were talking in the moment. But now he's irrelevant to me, so I don't care to fucking reply to him. Go ahead.
Well, the one pick I had last week was the team that first scored, so I'm going to keep that going again this week. I think the Falcons will have the first scoring play.
Is that field goal, touchdown?
Field goal, touchdown, safety, any kind of score.
Okay.
And the odds are plus 375. Last week they were plus 190.
Holy shit, Miles.
So
you're going to have to go to the club with that, baby.
That's what I'm saying. So we had a plus 190 last week. Now we're rocking with it at plus 375. And the last 4 games between the Falcons and the Eagles, the first score between those two have all been Falcons field goal.
I like it.
So I like that one tonight.
In Philly? That's tough.
Philly. And that'll be good for your bet too, Sheets, if it's a field goal. Young-Hoo Koo throws one in from 45.
I like it.
And I think both of our bets are on track for that. And then the second one, I don't know if I want to go with the spread and take the Falcons.
Well, since dipshit down there already took the Eagles minus 5.5, take something different.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert over receiving yards. over 41.5. His last 4 games on the road in Financial Field, he's gone over 47 yards each time.
I like
I
it.
think he'll go for 68 yards tonight.
So to recap, again, we went 4-2 last week. We'd be putting money in your pockets if you were following us. Miser's got the Falcons, first team to score. Dallas Goedert over 41.5 receiving yards. I've got Jahan Dotson over 2.5 catches. Younghoe Koo over 6.5 points. Our special guest,
Big Daddy,
Saquon scoring
Big
a touchdown,
Daddy.
and the Eagles minus 5.5. So hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Yeah.
We'll see how many positive weeks we can string together in a row. Beck's got a lot of weight on his shoulders, carrying Stolken's 2-0 guest record. We'll see if
Get fucked, Stolken. Get fucked.
Well, that's all I've got.
Go fuck you. He's probably cooking his cats right now. That man's probably cooking up his cats in Springfield, Ohio.
He probably really took offense to that. He loves that
All
cat.
right. Get out before you guys get blocked. Get me out. Get me out.
Well, thanks for coming on, Goose.
Deuces.
All right, we're gonna say peace out to this week's episode here. It's been good chatting again. Week 2, the season's gonna be fucking done before we know it. And I think we're in store for a good game. Kirk Cousins in prime time, that's always a doozy. Let's see what he can do. Either way, this has been Lay 'em on the Line. Signing off. Until next week, America.